All right, so right here I have a handful of records that I was just gonna go through and listen. I actually just went through a few of them myself, and I just said, you know what, I'm gonna turn on the cameras, hit record, hang out with you guys, listen to some music. I don't know if I'm gonna make a beat, I might not. I just want to listen to music and probably chop up a few records that I like and just save them onto my MPC as programs, and we can come back to these later. Mainly just want to hang out with you guys and wanted to film this listening session, I guess we can call it, and just share with you some of the things that I listen for when I find something that is going to work for me. Now, before I do jump into that, I do want to remind you, if you are in need of any audio gear and you want to support my channel, check out my links to Zounds. If you want to shop any audio gear, it does support my channel without costing you anything extra. That's where I got my MPC Live. I did the 4 payment plans with them, and if it weren't for those payment plans, I would not have this MPC Live right in front of me. So make sure you guys go ahead and check out Zounds.
And I'll be your good
It's really fast for me to know when I want to work with something versus when I don't want to work with something. This right here sounds like the 80s. I'm not really a fan of the 80s. I think like it's just the sound quality sounded a little too thin. Not every record. There's probably some really good sounding records from the 80s, but when it comes down to sampling, it's not my preferred era. So one thing that I look for and I gravitate towards when I'm listening to music is the sound quality of how it was recorded and bass lines. A lot of times there's probably a lot going on, but there's certain bass grooves that I like, that I know that I can chop up into each individual pad, almost like if I'm the one performing that bass note. I might give it a shot, bring it into the MPC, chop it up, and see if we can come up with something. Now this is pretty quick for me. I know right away this is not going to work. I don't spend too much time trying to give it a chance. I just play it, and the first few seconds, I'll know right away this is not going to work, so I move on to the next one.
These are happy summer days.
Yeah, it's not going to work out.
Mountains crumble long.
All right, there's some rock and roll right here, so this might work. Hell no. All right, on to the next one. This might be a fast video. Who knows? Let's see what we have right here. Well, this one's well put together. All right, so I'm not going to sample that. That sounds way too cool. What am I going to do? There's some records that I'll listen and it just sounds so damn good. I'm like, I can't flip it. It sounds awesome. It sounds familiar. Actually sounds like somebody else has sampled it before, so I don't want to reflip that. It sounds perfect. There's nothing I can do to it. All right, let's hear this. All right, so this is a pretty known song. Again, this is a remake of it. Somebody else just put it together and it sounds awesome. The way it was recorded, what I'm gravitating towards, that's what I heard. It just sounds really dark, and it's something that I can probably reflip, not making it sound like the original, because the original already sounds great. It sounds perfect the way it is. All right, let's just come up with some grooves and see what sounds right. Okay, I'm already tapping out the tempo. I'm gonna lay something down right here on the grid. Oh, this is all energy right here. Shift cut. I want to add something else right there. Oh, let's dig through a different bank. That sounds awesome. All right, I got it. All right, so look, this is, I'm gonna put this right here on the third beat. That's it. Same thing on the second bar. Let's get rid of this note, shift, cut, and let's try to throw in a different chop. Grab that, shift, cut, and let's go over here. Okay. Oh, that is so cool. All right, look, let's add a new track, and I gotta hear some drums on top of this. And real quick, I don't know what drums, I just want to add something. These might not be the drums that I'm gonna stick with, but I have to hear something on top of this. Let's go ahead and add that. So go ahead and add that. Oh man. All right, so look, when I'm just creating, I'm moving fast. I'm using some of these plugins. This high pass filter is good enough for me. I'm just trying to get rid of some low end of the sample, the way it was recorded. The record that I'm using is a little muddy and it just sounds a little too compressed. Throw in a high pass filter, get rid of some of that low end. Main thing is just keep the ball rolling, keep the energy going. Later on, once you're actually going to mix down the record, that's where you want to probably stem this out into Pro Tools or Ableton, and you want to do it a better mix, you go ahead and do so. But I'm going to use some of these tools that I have right here, right at my fingertips. So this is sounding pretty damn cool. One thing I'm going to say right now, all it takes, look, I have this stack full of records. I've went through these right here. I don't know if you can see them, but these are all garbage. Well, at least not garbage music, but just something I cannot use. It's okay. I bought this whole entire stack full of records for, I think it was $5. All it takes for me is one song or just one bar from a record that I'm like, yo, I can grab this, I can flip. Like right now, this right here, just this record alone, if I don't find anything else, is worth every penny. This was $5. Worth every fucking penny. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Actually, before we move on to the next one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this the way I have it chopped up. Right here we have a drum track. This is chopped up from bank A all the way to bank D. It's all chopped up already, sliced up the way I have it. I'm going to save this into my sample collection onto my SD card. The way I save this track as a program, I just hit save, and right here is going to ask me, do I want to save the project or do I want to save the drum program? The drum program is going to contain those audio chops chopped up the way I have them. I'm going to save it as a drum program. I'm going to put it into my SD card. I have a folder right here called PGMs. Create a new folder, and I'm going to call it whatever the name of the song is. So it's just called Bang. Hit do it, hit save, bam. Now it's saved. I don't have to carry around these and stack them up right here in my closet. I could just keep going through records as I'm saving them into my SD card. If you're part of the Patreon, do not forget to download these sample chop programs exactly the way I have them. Load them up into your MPC, follow along, or create your own flips. All right, let's move on to the next one. Just quick decisions. Sounds all right, but it's not something that I'm going to invest my time in. This is the thing. There's three types of scenarios that I run into when I'm sampling or I'm just listening to music. One is when I hear a record and I know 100% I want to chop it up. It sounds awesome. I want to bring it into the MPC, invest my time into chopping it up and see what we come up with. The second one is like this record, it might have worked. I just didn't want to put too much time in it. I will still sample it. I'll still chop it up really fast. With these newer MPCs, to chop up 16 pads, you can do it within seconds. So it's not like you're wasting too much time. It doesn't hurt to try and just recreate a flip, which most of the times, that's the type of records I run into. Songs that might work, might not, I'll chop it up, see if we can pitch it up, pitch it down, reverse it if we want to. All right, this is our last one right here. Might not work, but let's hear it. You know, let's go ahead and sample it for the hell of it. Doing this with something like my 2000 XL back then, it was, don't waste your time. Just to do what I did right now within seconds, it took me probably like 10 seconds as I'm sampling into the MPC. Something like the SP1200 or something like the MPC 2000 XL or any of the vintage samplers, you got to know that the song you're going to chop up is something well worth your while. I'm just bringing in anything, even though it's not my style, but I get to experiment and maybe I do come up with something. Let's go ahead and lay that down. Horrible. But listen, look, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I think we found gold right here. The first sequence is something that I'm going to just expand, explore. Make sure you guys watch my previous video. I'll leave somewhere a link somewhere up here where, apologies, my microphone went out as I was filming this, but thank you guys for watching this video. I appreciate you taking the time. I'll catch y'all on our next video. Peace.